Today is Saturday, December 10th, 2016. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor, Millennials vs. Gen X, Episode 12.
This is also a very special milestone episode for us.
Yes, 1,000
Episode
Survivor
number 1,000 podcast.
Episodes. Yeah, wow.
Very cool.
You talk a lot.
Yes, we do, don't we? And we're thankful to have a lot of folks to talk about Survivor with, right? We've got a great community here at Survivor Fans Podcast.
I'm certainly looking for some assistance in my final 6.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to hit a milestone like 1,000 during a season that so many people are enjoying and excited about. And we do, the way we got to 1,000, at least, when did we start doing the 3 shows a week? That was in China?
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I think that was in season, is that 15? Yeah, 15 in China. So Joanne and I will do a recap right after the episode airs. And then, starting with Survivor China, we got to do interviews. We didn't start with the very first person in the cast, I don't think.
No, I think it was like the third.
We started with Leslie. Yeah, she was like third or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Leslie was our first interview.
Yeah, the CBS
Leslie
interview, we had done some before then.
Well, yeah, but I mean for
our weekly interviews.
Yeah, our weekly interviews.
Yeah, and it turns out we've done over 320 interviews, I think now. Soon to be 326 here before the end of the season. But
if you say so.
So we do the recap, we do the interviews with whoever got booted out that week, and then we do this show, which is what we call the listener feedback show. We hand the reins of the show over to you so that you can share your thoughts about what just happened, how you see the season as a whole shaping up, and any predictions you might have going forward. This is always a fun episode to do that on because we're headed into the finale. So this is your chance to make some bold predictions. I think we've got some in the feedback this week.
When did we start doing listener feedback? Did you look at that up?
That was in the first season. So back in 2005, we were having people. We were having other folks. Yeah, Drew and Mike K and
Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy was there. Yeah, so we've had other people contributing to the show since our very first season.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's get to it. Let's see what Pete has to say.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. And I got to say, with this season and the finale finally here, I got to let out a big woo, baby. Another doozy-woozy double boot, but not quite as epic as the Jessica Chris moments or how Zeke got idled out or blindsided there, but still very, very good double boot episode nevertheless. So let's get cooking. So the first part where Will got voted out, not much of a shocker. The young lad got much to learn of what it is to be a Survivor player, as Tony Vlachos passionately said in the first Brain Beauty Bronze season to young Spencer. But hey, he tried, he gave it all he had, he tried to make moves, and he went out with class, and I think he'll learn from it, you would hope. I was more shocked with the second one. Why Hannah decided to not go with the split vote to get rid of David is beyond me. Hannah. So she got 0.0 shot of winning, guys. Write that out on quotes. Even though she's from Boston, even against Bret, she can't win, or can. There's no way, because she burned too many bridges, and I've already read a lot of Sunday's interviews about her, how she couldn't believe she blindsided her alliance like that. No way. She's the easy goat. Ken may get a vote or two, but he's a GOAT as well. He hasn't done much other than provide at camp and done good in challenges. And Bret's been a little bit of a floater, but he probably has the best chance of the three GOATs. But I'd love it to be Adam, Jay, and David. Personally now, I think forget it. They've had their chances to get rid of the big dog in David, and now they're losing out. I think it's David's to lose at this point, guys. But then again, you don't know. If it's him and Adam in final tribal, and who knows, if Adam's smart, he would do what Jeremy did in Second Chances about how when he brought up about his wife being pregnant with a baby. And if Adam's smart, he'd do the same thing about how his mom is dying of lung cancer there, and how he did it for her and his whole family. So I would show for Adam and David. It could go either way, and then Jay third, depending on who he's up. If it's Jay and Adam at the end minus David, it could go either way, I think. Or actually, no, if it's Jay and David, because Jay was a big underdog. But it's going to be an epic finale, guys. What do you think, guys? And also, you think we're going to have a bitter jury? I've been watching Ponderosa. Doesn't seem bitter at all. They're all having a good time. Even Jessica and Sunday now, they reunited, it seems, after some venting and relaxing. I'm looking forward to it, guys. I love this season. Woo!
Thanks, Pete. What do you think? Are we going to have a really exciting finale to this good season?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think the jury will be particularly bitter.
You don't? I think there's been undercurrents of it.
But I do think some of them will do it deliberately because that's kind of what they think is expected.
Oh, okay. So that's another way to come at it, that they would do it to sort of get a little more limelight at the end.
Exactly. It's their moment, and they can, they come up with, and they probably divvy up questions and what they're going to talk about. And so
I think there would probably be a temptation between Chris and Jessica to try too hard, given that they're trial lawyers. That they may try to push things a little bit. But, there's been...
I thought Zeke would try.
There's been bitterness. No, Zeke came out really even keel. We know Taylor's bitter. I think Michelle's probably okay. But she may ask him a question about dragons or something at the end. Who knows? But Chris, he's had some resentment that he was dealing with towards Zeke. Jessica's definitely had some towards Sunday and vice versa. Will, they played that trick on Will when he got there, which could have potentially put him in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Made his experience not as enjoyable.
He was upset because it's one thing, like he said, for them to do that funny ha-ha for 15 minutes and then tell him the truth. But they carried it on for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And so I think that made him just feel stupid and like they were just picking on the kid or something.
Especially because it didn't seem like they did it to Sunday.
They didn't, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
they
didn't show us if they did.
They said, we decided to start doing it to everyone.
Yeah.
But
maybe they thought better of it after they saw Will's response.
Yeah. That seemed kind of...
I'm not counting it out. I think there could be some... I didn't think there would be at first because of how well they seemed to be playing and taking it on their exit, and then. But
everybody you said they were upset with is also on the jury.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're done letting go of that.
True.
Even though they've talked it out, they could redirect it back towards the people who are still there, especially if they don't deem them worthy, and it's going to be hard on whoever it is, the three from the last six here. Obviously they're stinging the most when it comes time for the jury.
True, because those are going to be quick ones for sure.
I'm looking forward to an exciting finale. I'd love to have this season top off with some really good challenges, some close things like that, and some exciting twists and turns. So let's see, what'll be made of the legacy advantage. Let's see if Jay's going to steal somebody's reward. That's not talked about right now.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Exactly, yeah. So who knows? The other thing that's interesting between Adam and Jay is they actually have similar stories now. And I'm not sure if Adam isn't going to be even, working even harder to get Jay out, because he doesn't want someone sitting beside him with a similar story if he were to choose to leverage those real-world events in his summary.
He would want him to maybe go tell Adam's story on the jury.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or better yet, be the one who tells it in the form of his questions.
Right.
Where Adam doesn't even have to go there. Because there's going to be some people are going to interpret that as manipulation. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they did with Jeremy too. So.
Well, yeah, and it is to some degree, of course. But that's part of their game.
I do think that the 6...
And their life.
I do think the 6 that are there have stories. You could tell in the interviews. I mean, we've been hearing about David for a long time in the interviews, going way back, and the danger of David. And then they've just let him slide through, like Pete was talking about.
Just like Jay.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But they all talk about... I love that we ask Will and Sunday the assessment questions, like we're really interested in the beginning of the season, but we asked here at the end to sort of see what their views were, and they lined up real similarly, don't you think?
Yeah.
In terms of what each person was bringing and what they offered to the game. So it's not clear to me what this jury will value, so I think it will be exciting and hard to guess at the finale.
Well, it would be smart for the 4 to get together and get rid of Jay and David. But Ken's not going to do that. I don't believe he will. I think
we'll see.
He's been so loyal.
Yeah.
I don't know that he'll do it.
That's
even
his story,
for his
right?
own game.
Yeah. Because he's authentic. All right. Thanks. Good as always, Pete. Get us going with some questions and some things to think about.
But the other 4 would do it.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Next up, we got an email from Ed in Milwaukee. Joanne and Stacy, the season is almost over, and it finally dawned on me that although I have listened to all your podcasts, I have not contributed any feedback this season. This cast is one of the best in the show's history, and most of the cast is very knowledgeable about the game. But what I find disturbing is that although the remaining survivors recognize that in order to win, they have to get rid of David and Jay, they keep voting out lesser players. I'm with you. It is disturbing to see them overlook the obvious logic there. And it's like their emotions have taken hold and are in control as opposed to the rational logic of what to do strategy-wise. I predicted at the beginning of the season that the Millennials versus Gen X rivalry would not last throughout the game. Modern survival players have learned that they have to ally with the people that can further benefit their game, and this frequently means aligning with a new group of people after the merge. It does not matter that David is Gen X and that Jay is a millennial. Both are threats to win the game. As to idle play, as a general rule, I don't believe it is beneficial to play an idol on someone else. You must look out for number 1. David totally wasted his idols, and Adam gained nothing last week by using his for Hannah. Regardless to how Will voted, Adam would have been in a much better position had he kept his idol, because keeping the idol would have given him protection as we get down to the end of the season. Jay's the only one to play his idol properly. His idol play would have impacted the game if the rest of the cast used common sense to target David and Jay instead of voting out Sunday. I agree with Joanne that Hannah's strategy seems to be that Sunday was competing with Hannah for the GOAT position. Building a resume, I believe that making big moves for the sake of making big moves is a flawed strategy. The goal of a Survivor player should be to vote out people you can't beat. It should not matter if you vote out a threat with a big move or a small move. The lesson young Will should have learned this week is that the result of his big move on Zeke was what put a target on his back and a foot on his butt that kicked him out of the game. For the legacy idol, if Ken is voted out, my money's on him giving it to David. It will be interesting to see how big a factor this idol will be in determining the game's outcome. Thanks, Ed. Do you think he'll be able to gift it?
I don't think so after he uses it.
After it goes active on day 36.
Yeah, I think that was prior to day 36.
He won't be able to pass it on if he gets voted
think
out.
So.
We didn't get any indication that that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I would kind of think not, since it's being awarded on day 36, because Ken was talking about an extra video. He couldn't wait to open it first thing the next morning.
Yep. I'm sure that's going to be one of the things
I'd be like, 12:01, it's time.
Back from travel, yeah. Hey, isn't it time yet? Yeah, good deal. Thanks, Ed. Next up, we got a call from Shea.
Hey, guys. Shea. What a show. I personally thought it was too fast. I know Stacy dug it. I don't know. I needed more sauce, more gravy with my meat. Needed more talking, more, I don't know, interaction. So I really know what's going on. But what I can gather from what I am being shown is some clear winners are starting to appear, at least for me. I think Bret needs to go. I think Ken needs to go. He was who I was rooting for in the beginning. Again, I thought he was this quiet, confident, cool guy, but I think he's just an awkward, mean guy. I don't know. He's just changed for me completely. And Bret, I think Bret is every bit of goat as everybody else that's fallen by the wayside. He's just a yes guy. He just lets everybody else make decisions, and he's like, okay, let's do that. Hannah, though I think she's worked harder than Bret for sure, she's got to go. The top three are definitely, without a doubt, Adam, David, and Jay. They have all played so hard and have made so many risky moves that could have had them out of the game and have managed to stay in it. And I like all three of their stories. I think Adam should win. I'd be glad to see any one of those three win, but I think Adam is at the top of that list if I had to pick. He just has been so close to going home and just had some really devastating moments of sorrow out there and has just pulled himself together and gotten through and has found a way to stay in this game. If one of those three don't win, I'll be disappointed, with the caveat of Hannah. Hannah can win too. That would be fine because I think she's done more work than we've seen. Oh, speaking of which, that reminds me when I called last week and said I thought Stacy was missing out on how hard Hannah's been working. And he said, I don't see it, and I don't think anybody else has seen it on the show. You're wrong. Michaela, in her interview, said that Hannah was playing a better game than was being shown on TV and that she was actually really smart. So there's Stacy. There you go. There's somebody else who saw it, other than me and your beautiful wife. But anyway, that being said, I still think it should be Adam, Jay, or David. Really great episode. Loved the immunity challenge where they had to focus on two things. I wonder if Adam helping Ken will come back to bite him, if somebody will resent him for that. I don't know. We'll see. But I just absolutely cannot wait for the finale, and at the same time, am so sorrowful that it's already here. I can't believe that it's almost over. The podcast is almost over. I really don't know what I'll do with myself. I don't know. Maybe watch the show alone. Woohoo! That's exciting. You guys watch it too. I just set my DVR up this morning for it. So anyway, wish you guys did a podcast about that. All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Bye.
Ooh, the first episode's already aired on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. So we're not going to talk about it at all.
No.
And
it was that. The thing with Stacy is, Shea, the selective hearing.
The selective hearing?
Selective hearing. You hear what you want to.
Oh, I may be a victim of that.
Like that.
Yeah, definitely. Hearing. There was a comment. We publish the audio podcasts on our YouTube channel. So there's no video. It's just a graphic, and you get to hear all this like a normal podcast, because I'm a big subscriber to YouTube podcasts now, and I thought, we should do that too in case there are other people who that's one of their primary ways of getting access to the media. And there was a comment this week. I want to say it was Simone. Sorry, I didn't write it down before we came in here. I blanked on it, but Shea made me remember it. And she was getting on me too about not acknowledging Hannah's game. And
yes,
my response, it really is based on what Shea was saying, which is there are other people talking about Hannah's game. We got that in the interviews, and those,
and in the listener.
I'm talking about the castaways that are out there that have something to do with how the game's going to end in that regard. To further support Shea's point in that regard, Will and Sunday both had good things to say about how Hannah was working. They also said that her social game was lacking. I'm paraphrasing, that there was something just wasn't quite there. Which is everything that we've been shown.
A little neurotic. She admits that. And that does affect you socially. She doesn't. Absolutely. She knows what she wants to do and how to, and she tries really hard. And I think she's playing hard, but she doesn't always come across as smoothly.
She doesn't come across as smooth at all. She refers to the challenges as the sports.
Yeah, well,
I'm not as good at the sports. In today's sport,
Yeah, so that's her thing. Hannah likes making new words for Survivor.
And that's the wrong word for what's going on.
Fine.
It's not. She's not making new words. That's different from Trust Cluster, which I'm firmly with Bret on at this point in terms of its value and usefulness in the show. All right, thanks, Shea. Next up, we've got a call from Harold.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor fans out there. This is Harold from Boynton Beach. I just got to say, yahoo! The fact that double elimination just was awesome. Totally awesome. Oh, yeah. And then my predictions. Basically, that one challenge where they had to do the ball, that ball really did go down slow. But it was kind of cool to see Adam help Ken. So now we will get to see whatever this legacy advantage is coming up this week. Hannah, you are now the queen goat. You are the last goat there. Final 4 predictions. 1, has there ever been a Final 4 all-male? I don't know if you guys know, because I don't, but it could possibly be an all-male, but I don't think so. I think our Final 4, you're going to see Adam get voted off next. Then I think it's going to be Final 4 will be Jay, Hannah, David, and Ken. That's the Final 4, with possibly Adam winning the whole thing. So I can't wait till next week. I'm sad it's going to be finale, but it's been a great season. Also, I don't think I want to see another season right away of Millennials versus Gen X like that, but what I would like to see is maybe either an all-millennial or maybe an all-nerd, like all gamers or all goats or something, and less like actors and really strong player. Tell me what you guys think. Thank you. Take care.
What do you think about an all-nerd one? I might have a shot at getting on that one, you think? Maybe? Yeah, I like that. You could do a STEM one. You could do science, technology, engineering, math. You could do that. I'm sure they would have to have some interesting puzzles to challenge that crew.
So you're gearing it more toward you.
Yeah, I'm with Harold. I like his idea there. Yeah, less of the Kens and more of the Hannahs and Davids. Okay, sure. Good deal. Thanks, Harold. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
Hi, Survivor fans. This has been a very entertaining season, and I can't wait to see how it all finishes up. I didn't see Will as a huge threat, but I'm not really surprised he left the game this episode. However, I do see David as a threat to win the game, and I think he might. He started off being really paranoid, and now look at him. After much consideration based on last week's feedback, I had Will as one of my vote outs, and it worked out for me.
Wow, good job.
The first immunity challenge looked quite challenging, and the slingshot aspect of it looked very hard, but leave it to Jay to make it look like a piece of cake. Speaking of Jay, I think he has a really good shot at winning if he can make it to the final tribal. While watching, I thought Jay will be voted out if he doesn't win the second immunity challenge. I would have done horribly in that challenge. I would not have had the reflexes to concentrate on a very difficult puzzle and at the same time focus on when to go back and save the ball from falling off. I would not have done well in that either. I thought Adam helping Ken would have left another target on his back, but that didn't turn out to be the case. I think it was a smart move to tell Jay about his mom so that if one of them goes, the other could vote for the one remaining. I did not see Sunday leaving the game at this point when there were more threats to go after. As for next week and the winner of this season, I think most have a really good shot. So I don't know who my final order is at all, but this listener feedback will probably help me with that decision. Right now, I'm thinking either Adam, David, or Jay for the win, but I'm curious as to what the other listeners are thinking. Congratulations on the podcast milestone.
Thanks,
all
Jack.
right, thank you.
Next up, we got audio from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. This last episode I felt was quite rushed because as soon as it started, we had the challenge, the first immunity challenge, and we went home. Lucky me, I got a point. But in the second one, I was a bit sad to see the last girl gone, or should I say, there's only one girl left standing. Now, It was a bit sad to see Sunday go. However, I found her a bit boring and forgettable, and I could really see why Hannah targeted her. And it was a good move for Hannah because now she's going to be the only girl, and she will most probably find herself in the final three. And if she's in the final three, it all depends on how she plays her cards and her speech. And if she did things that maybe we didn't see at all. Now, did you notice Hannah's got quite a dirty face, hasn't she? I don't think she washes herself, because I was just comparing her to Adam at the tribal council, and Adam looked really clean, like he'd gone and washed his face in water. Something, maybe Hannah doesn't like water, maybe. Anyway, I like the relationship between Jay and Adam, and it was really very they were so mature, and they were, the way they were playing the game, you could just see it. And even Adam and David, and just comparing them to these other fellows we had seen before, Scott Jason, and oh my god, Dan and Will. I think the players on this season have been very civilized and very professional. It's really good to see that. And I must say, I love the challenges, especially the last one where they combined the puzzle with the time bit in it. It was really good fun, and it was really interesting to see how Ken was managed by Adam, and so he helped him win the immunity challenge. I think that was pretty good. I saw the secret scene with Ken cooking, and that was really interesting. And I thought, I didn't know they had things like pumpkin and stuff, and it really looked good what he was cooking. Oh well, I think David might win the game. That's what I think. And well, he's not my USB, but still, if he wins, it'll be great. I think he'll be a good winner. And if Ken wins, then I get the points. Though only I think it's 5 points. But anyway, I'm just looking forward to the finale now. And again, there'll be lots of people who won't be spoken to. But still, a finale is a finale. And waiting to hear what everybody else has to say. And thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. Bye.
Thank you, Rashmi. Yeah, that scene with Ken cooking, did you see it? Did you watch that extra video?
I don't think so.
I'm glad Rashmi mentioned it, because it did surprise me that they still had pumpkin, assuming that's really what that was that he was cooking in that case. But they definitely still had some spices.
Oh, cool.
And they still got plenty of coconut. There's a big pot of coconut and what looked like a big pot of.
Well, I think they've said
pumpkin.
That Ken did. He wanted to do most of the cooking.
Yes.
So,
yep.
Yeah, I'm not
he gets
sure
credit for being a good cook.
People.
Yeah.
He goes out and catches it, and then comes back and cooks it.
Yeah.
And serves it. So that does make him somewhat valuable if he's feeding you.
Yep. Although I'm sure they could tough it out at this point.
Yes, for a few days.
Yeah.
The few days that are left.
Right. We've seen them forego someone who's a provider at the end many times.
Though I think there are much bigger threats they should be worrying about. Okay, now that someone is done making himself comfortable on his daddy, let's hear what Nicola in Lexington has to say.
Hi, Joanna, Stacy, and all my Survivor family. Well, that was the quickest 42 minutes of Survivor ever. Seemed like the show just started, and then we were at Tribal, blinked again, and another Tribal. Wish we would have gotten 2 hours, but as usual, any Survivor's better than none. I did manage to get one vote off in Will, but went with Bret for my other one. I'm not sure why Hannah was so adamant about getting Sunday out first, and why did Hannah not acknowledge Adam's idol play for her when they were talking on the beach? Could be the edit, I guess, but I thought there would be more talk about it than we were shown. Of course, there really wasn't much time between challenges and Tribal. The scene between Jay and Adam talking about their moms was very touching. I wouldn't be surprised to see both those guys in the final three. That being said, I really have no idea what will happen next week. I have a friend coming over to watch and typically try to recreate some dishes local to the Survivor location for us to eat, but I haven't found anything I want to try to cook yet. So back to Pinterest I go. Have a great week, everyone. I'm looking forward to all the pointers I can get for the last week on JSFL. Cheers. Thanks, Nicola. Do you know of anything from Fiji you could make for us?
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
Could get some coconut.
I would be like her. I'd be searching the internet to find out. Be like, I don't know what they eat. I have not been there.
All right. Thanks again, Nick.
Fish.
There you go. Fish and coconut.
Cook it in a coconut sauce. That'll be it.
Next up, we got a call from Marla and Sarah.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. This is Marla.
And this is Sarah.
With our feedback coming from the Midwest where we're about to get hit with the foot of snow. Sarah, what did you think of the episode this week?
It was good, but it wasn't as interesting, like, without the reward challenge.
Yes, I know. I agree. We sort of felt like it was rushed. And also, Sarah and I agreed that we weren't exactly sure what the thinking was with voting off Will and then Sunday. I thought would have been like the last people you'd want to vote out. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not very smart, but I didn't get it. Did you?
No. Why would they vote out Sunday? Sunday wasn't a threat at all.
No, she just seemed like sort of a nice mom. I think they're really going to be missing her. Maybe everyone's going to start to fight when Mom leaves. I was sad. Will, our USB, off he went, and I forgot to put my picks in this week. So we're going to go do those right after this, right, Sarah?
Yep.
So 2 weeks to Christmas. We're excited for the finale, and we hope everyone is well. Joanne and Stacy, happy 1,000th episode. I can't even believe that. Can you, Sarah?
No, that's so many.
That's so many, and she's good at math. All right, friends, have a wonderful week. Joanne and Stacy, thank you for all you do. You know how much you mean to us, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank you.
Ditto, girls.
That. Next up, we got an email from Julie in Iowa, formerly Julie from Vegas.
Congratulations, Joanne and Stacy, and happy 1,000th podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for making this happen for Survivor fans. I have not sent feedback in for several years, but I am always listening. Wednesday mornings are my favorite time of the week, and I'm sad that will end for a while. I'm really liking the season, and I guess if I had to choose a favorite player, it would be Ken or maybe Bret. I'm with Stacy about feeling that something is off with David. I just have a feeling that he prepared for Survivor by losing 50 pounds and turned himself into a 97-pound weakling who was afraid of everything. I feel like he is pulling the wool over our eyes with this storyline, and I think eventually the truth will come out. Thanks again. All right, and thank you, Julie. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I like your idea there, too. Next up, we got some audio from Drew and his crew.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew and a couple of hooligans making a big mess, but just a few thoughts on this early Saturday morning. Double elimination! I just love a double elimination. I know the pacing was fast, but now and then, I just like to have a nice double hit and whittle things down a little. Maybe not for every week, but it did give a nice sense of building momentum heading into the finale, so I like that. It's not like we need to get to know these people like at the beginning, you know. It's just like kind of running things down to the end now. So, good episode. Interesting challenges. Just when I think they can't surprise me, they sometimes surprise me. So, it's always pretty satisfying when someone who thinks they're running things gets blindsided, so yay. And I have to say that when they started putting Bret's name out there, I was poised to get full points on the double elimination episode, but alas, I'm pretty sure I had Sunday safe. Wah, wah. But you know, my USB 5 is still in at the final episode, so that's not too bad. I think it could totally win, but I'm not about to predict how that's all going to go down, because I just don't know. I don't know. There's so many things that could happen with 6 people. I kind of think Bret's next, but I'm not sure why. I kind of thought he was going to be last week. So anyway, speaking of, one thing I meant to say last week is that for the family visit, after Adam said he wouldn't take it away from anyone, I kind of felt like Jeff just kept telling Jay to pick one more person to get the reward so that eventually it would include Adam. I wonder if he had picked Adam second, would they have told him to pick one more person? I don't know. Just a thought that came to mind. There's no way he couldn't, sad to say, exploit that story for ultimate drama. Though at the same time, maybe just giving him a chance to get some news. Let's not be so prosaic about it. Speaking of Adam, I might have a new pet peeve in this game, and it's exactly that. Has anyone else ever noticed how many times they say the words in this game? If you start to notice, you really start to notice, and then it becomes pretty annoying. I mean, I feel like it was in the dozens in this episode alone. It would be a perfect drinking game were I the drinking sort of man. Anyway, hopefully I didn't ruin that for you, and so now you notice, but I just can't not now that I've thought of that. Especially Adam. He just They are just constantly saying those words. Okay, winner of the week, Ken, mostly because it's my last chance to throw it at him, and he probably won't get winner of the season, and because he's set to reveal that legacy advantage, which I hope isn't a dud. Loser of the week, hard to choose. I guess Hannah, just because she blew up my chances for full points. But I thought your interview with Sunday was pretty good, but I was underwhelmed by Will. So that's it for this morning. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and happy 1,000 episodes. I think I was there for some of the very first, and so it's crazy to think that it's been that many. But it has, and you guys are still going strong, and I think better than ever. So thanks for all the hard work, and I'm looking forward to everyone else's feedback. Talk to you later. Do you want to say anything, Charlie? Say congratulations. Good job, baby. Okay, I guess that'll do. Nothing, buddy? Okay, say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed with the Will interview too.
I think, he was in the middle of finals.
Maybe he was distracted.
It was kind of like
when he said he wasn't watching the season.
Yeah.
That flipped a switch for me. I'm like, how could you not? This was your experience. I mean, you got to have it at 18.
And you're not watching.
You're not enjoying it. Oh, well. Yeah,
there's other people that have said that, and they...
And I didn't care that they didn't watch. But I thought, he was going to be really excited and everything. So, I don't know. I don't know if maybe the being on the jury at the end didn't sour him a little on the season, maybe.
I don't know. But it seemed I agree, it seemed a little bit, that he was very good to answer everything we asked him, but... Yeah,
it was brisk and moving on, and then it was like,
it was more of a just Q&A than...
Let's get it done.
An interaction, I guess.
As opposed to, like, Sunday had that really good energy, and and she was like more animated, I guess, and more into it in that sense. At least it felt that way.
Feels that way to us. Okay.
Thanks, Drew. And I hadn't noticed in this game, but I guess I'll listen for it. I also know that when I'm really tired, I get in verbal ruts like that, and I bet that's a part of what's going on for them when they do that. Very similar. Next up, we got an email from Saundra in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. I'm sad to say I've only had a chance to actually watch episode 1 since I went back to working and working evenings and juggling my children. Well, then that's understandable. And working has been an adventure. I have, however, listened to every single podcast and am grateful you have provided me enough detailed information that I'm able to keep up with the show. Oh, wow. That's different. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
I'm writing today to congratulate you on episode 1000. Amazing. I'm so happy to have you in my home 3 times a week, and I feel like we are friends. I'm hoping to be able to catch the finale on Wednesday as I get off work early. Here's to the next 1000 episodes. Thank you, Saundra. I hope you are able to watch the finale live. That'll be a great way to cap off the season. Plus, you could get us some more feedback for the last listener feedback show.
There you go.
If you can squeeze it in. You're a very busy woman. Okay, next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. So I want to start off saying, last episode, Zeke and David were my 2 favorites. Of course, I had other favorites, like Ken and Adam, but Zeke and David were really the people I wanted to win. So Zeke goes home. So coming into this episode, I was so scared that David was going home. And at the tribals, he kept being mentioned and at camp as a target to go home, and his name actually got wrote down, and I was so scared that he was going to go home, and he even came really close to winning a challenge and then lose to Jay, and I was just so scared for David this episode. On the topic of challenges, is it just me, or do the post-merge challenges of this season all look really hard? I don't know if that's just me forgetting about how they normally are, but to me, they look really hard. I wonder if that's just me or not. At Tribals, thankfully, it was nobody I really wanted to win. It was Will and Sunday. Oh, darn. Will was kind of a threat, but, he didn't really do much, and Sunday was Sunday. I wasn't torn up about them going. But I think it's a mistake that they didn't put more votes toward Jay. I mean, he did play his idol, but I feel like they could have convinced him, because he's not very smart, that they were voting for somebody else. But they didn't, and so Jay played his idol, but he didn't really need to. And I feel like they should have put more effort into making Jay believe that he didn't need to, and actually putting more votes towards Jay. Because look at it now. Will and Sunday are on the jury. The jury is stacked towards Jay's vote right now. And I was wondering why nobody brought that up after Jay was saying, it's just me here. Yes, it's just you, but the jury is leaning towards you as a vote for the winner. So hopefully next episode, Jay goes home, loses the next community challenge to David, because I would love that. I'm really excited for the finale. Lots of people I like. Let's go, David.
Thanks, Parker. I'm 100% on board with Parker. I agree that the jury is stacked for Jay. The big mystery, I don't know why I can't see it, but the voting pattern, the way they're choosing to vote, and the way these folks that seem to be significant threats, granted we get to see everything through a different lens, are still there. I don't understand how the other folks, at least the ones that are on the jury now, right, and the ones that are still in the game that are voting, are continuing to make those kinds of choices, where the logic is. I get Bret, because I think Bret gave us his strategy. He summarized his entire approach, and then you add what we heard in the interviews about him from Will and Sunday, and what we've heard in earlier interviews too. His was, you get to the final three. That's it. He's there to get to the final three, and he's done the best he could with what he had, and what was reinforced multiple times in the interviews this week is his social game and his connection.
He's
and
funny,
his humor.
he's likable.
Yeah, and that he's really been able to bring the spirits up at different times, those kinds of things. That's why I started off in the beginning saying everyone's got a story. I got to acknowledge everyone's got a story. And with the wacky voting, like Parker's talking about, even though Parker's all about getting his guy there, making sure David gets there, and why they should vote off everyone else. But the thing that's going to be challenging, of course, is just trying to figure out, when you're trying to make your picks, how are they looking at it? What is it that they're valuing that's caused the voting to go the way that it has? Thanks again, Parker. Next up, we got an email from Barry in Mississippi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. A hearty congratulations on your 1,000th podcast.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
That is a lot of dedication. You make my world a better place, as do all the Survivor fans who contribute to this wonderful community. Thank you.
Yeah.
Got to strap in for what is sure to be a wild finale, hoping that my USB Ken can quickly grow a personality and win, but I don't think he can. I would like to see a final three of Jay, Adam, and Dave. I think that would be an interesting vote. I am betting Ken's advantage is an extra vote or steal a vote. That would make an odd number of votes and avoid a tie at the vote of 6. I'm probably wrong, but that would make sense to me. It's interesting. Thank you for all you do, and to all the Survivor fans, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hell State.
We had to look that one up, Barry.
Yeah.
We didn't know that was the fight song there. Good deal.
We do now.
Yeah, we do. And
thanks, Barry.
What if it were Ken, Bret, and Hannah at the end? I think Ken's got a chance to win.
I actually think they all do. If those three are there,
yeah.
I think
it's going to be kind of tough, maybe.
I think Hannah has worked really hard, and especially in her mind, she's fought really hard and played a hard game.
Yeah.
She doesn't really see herself as a goat, but I just don't think the others, because of her social game, take her as seriously somehow. And Ken, we've always thought he was a little bit socially awkward, the way people have talked, but he did provide for them.
What a story.
And feed them, and then, Bret
He's
entertained
there for
them,
his daughter that he got surprised with.
Yeah.
And he dropped everything and went back to, I said it before the season.
With her.
Before the season began, the guy is a Lifetime movie channel story with the looks to go with it. He could play himself. So.
Okay, you're right. Lifetime, not Hallmark?
Yeah, Hallmark, Lifetime, either one. Just depends if you want to make it seasonal or not, I suppose.
Yeah, one of those chick flicks.
I didn't say it that way.
You do that.
But I didn't.
Telling on you now.
I didn't.
You're watching one of those chick flicks.
Yeah, that's exactly my voice. I think you nailed me perfectly.
I did.
But so I think there's something, there's a way he can win. I don't know how they get rid of Adam, Jay, and David for that to come to be, but who knows with this group? Who knows?
That's kind of my thought is you don't know what they're going to do because they've just been unpredictable.
Maybe the
legacy,
legacy,
at least as far as I'm concerned.
The legacy advantage is you get to vote out 2 people immediately. Choose.
Ooh, no, they
Boom.
would never do that.
Adam and Jay gone, and then they beat David and send him because he doesn't win individual immunity. But that's why he's so desperate to come up with something. He's no longer got any cover. There you go. Excellent. Thanks, Barry. Yeah, you held that before you left.
You went off on a team.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Next up, we got a call from Kenny.
Hey, guys, it's Kenny from Dallas. I still think this season is very, very, very good. If I had to rank it just before the finale, I would make it top 10 or 12. I think it's that good. What makes it really good still is that we don't know really who's going to win. We don't have a clear idea among the top three, I think, who's going to be the winner. The location's been beautiful, as usual. And I think they've made the challenges a little bit different this year. I think there are more new challenges than I remember seeing previously, and I kind of like that. They haven't had a real mental challenge yet, so the men have been favored in a lot of these challenges, albeit this last one in which they had to build a puzzle at the same time, hoping their ball wouldn't fall from the pinball contraption, I guess has a mental component. But there have been no questions, a survivor quiz yet, so that the women, I think, have been at a distinct disadvantage in some of these immunity challenges. Maybe that contributes to why we only have one left. As for the people who are left, I think that of the three, Bret should have no chance. Ken, I think, has no chance with his lack of social game. I think Hannah has no chance. True, she organized the Sunday move, which was a big mistake, I think, on the other three real players. But I think, seriously, she has no chance. Of the three that are left, I don't understand why they wouldn't. I don't know why Adam wouldn't want to take out David, because he's a true player and he could win where Sunday had no chance. True, she could be a goat and someone would want to take her, but why not take out the real player? So the winner, I think, is going to be either Jay, who is kind of like Chris from the seasons past, where he really had no alliances. He managed to get through to the end and win, and he could do it. But I have to criticize his lack of game awareness when we won the last immunity challenge, and he stated that he wasn't going to do anything when he got back to camp to have organized strategy. He was just going to go off on his own. Poor gameplay. David's been a real player and a smart guy, and if I were on that remaining six, I would do everything I can to get rid of him. Adam, I think, has been coming around on his own, and I think is an overall pretty good player, though he's made some blunders. And I can't. I talk about survivor edits. David's got a survivor edit with his being a so-called weakling, and he's overcome that to find himself. Adam has got, obviously, the storyline of his mother, and I can't help that if I were survivor, I wouldn't be harping on it so much unless he were to win, trying to milk every degree of sympathy out of him. I think they're highlighting his mother too much, frankly, exploiting that tragic situation. And frankly, if she had stage 4 cancer months and months ago, I hope she's still around, but she might not be. And I hope they're not exploiting it too much. Jay, I think, is, if I had to pick one, I probably would go with Adam, but I could see the other two winning, which makes this a very, very, very strong season. If Hannah, Bret, or Ken wins, the world is flipped upside down. And frankly, if I were Hannah, Ken, and Bret, I would do everything I can to take those three to the final three and get rid of the other three. What are they thinking? They need to keep those three among themselves. Get rid of the other players who could win, who could beat them, unless they're delusional, and they each one of them thinks they could beat Adam, David, or Jay. Very, very good season, and that's the reason why Survivor is easily the best show on TV. Take care, guys. Bye.
And why we like doing the listener feedback show. There's a completely different viewpoint than I was just saying. So thanks, Kenny. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Boy, my head is just spinning from the last episode of Survivor. I think we had a relatively predictable boot for the first tribal council, with all of the talk from Will about I'm in charge, the people have to come to me, they want my vote, they want to work with me, blah, 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 blah. The consensus right from the beginning was Will's going home. And sure enough, that happened. As for what transpired after that first tribal council elimination, I think we had a few kind of intriguing topics come up. The first is this relationship between Jay and Adam. Maybe I haven't been paying close enough attention, but I really wasn't aware of this love-hate relationship they had going on that was now this front and center theme of this episode. I feel a little bit late to the party on that. Am I the only one that really totally missed this relationship forming? I mean, I found it touching that Adam revealed that he's out here playing for his mom, and found it very interesting that Jay has a similar experience with his mother having an aneurysm and going through all of that. That had to be really, really tough. You can tell that they both really love their mothers, and they're developing a common bond over that. And I don't know, are we seeing kind of a foreshadowing of this bond being forged that's going to march the two of them together to the end and be sitting there together? I think maybe we are looking at that. And I think that would be great because they both have very good stories. And I think they're both playing really strong games, and I would love to see them duke it out at the final tribal council. I also feel like I heard from Brent a lot this episode. I think aside from Sunday, Brent has gotten the least amount of airtime of the people left this season. And so starting to hear from him, I'm kind of wondering where his narrative is going. Not sure I want to see him at the end. Mostly because I want a seat to be there for David. And even Hannah, I think she's been stealth this whole season, but if she finds herself sitting at a final tribal council, I kind of think she's going to come out of the gates swinging. I don't think she's going to go down without a fight. She might not, at this point, be the most flamboyant and overt strategist, that I think there's enough there for her to hold her own at tribal council. Not saying she's going to win, but I think that she would put on or put up a good fight for her right to be sole survivor. Anyway, that's it for me. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Are we at the finale already? I swear I've blinked my eyes and it's the end of the year. It's the end of a great season. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Did I already say that? Well, anyway, cheers. Till next week. Bye. Okay, going back and listening to my feedback, does the fact that I called Bret Brent give you an idea of how invisible I feel he has been this season? I keep not even calling him by his correct name. Bret. I don't want to see Bret at the end. Anyway, cheers, everyone. Till next week. Bye.
Thanks, Jen.
That was priceless.
Yeah, that was excellent. I like how you did that. Yeah. As for the relationship between Adam and Jay, well, it was highlighted and really focused on, but there was elements of this all along, going back to the beginning, back when Adam was talking about how charismatic Jay was, and then there was the split, right, that happened over that first vote with Mari that sent Zeke and Adam spinning off of the millennial group in that particular
Adam
sequence of
Taylor,
events.
Basically.
And yet Adam was going back and talking to both of them, and we've seen back and forth, and we definitely seen the hate part. You could see Taylor and Jay hating on Adam multiple times before. The love part with them having these discussions didn't get featured as much. Maybe some of that was in the extras, in the videos, some references to that. It's hard to keep that straight.
Yeah, but now Jay likes him. He thinks he's he's a
warrior
hero,
and not a weasel.
He's a warrior.
Yes, but Jay was, that's what I meant by the hate part. There were points where they were calling him a weasel before and making fun of him for his choices.
Of course, if he votes him out, he'll be back to weasel status.
Yeah,
maybe,
probably.
Oh, I don't know. I think that made an impression on him. I still think he might vote for him if he took him out.
It doesn't seem to me, just sort of being well-fed and rested, rationally, logically, strategically, for either to have the other there, because their stories are going to be too similar in terms of their goals of doing things for their family. But who knows? This has been an upside-down season in a lot of ways. Thanks again, Jen. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, it was a packed episode. We had 2 excellent immunity challenges, lots of strategy, and 2 tribal councils. So why did it leave me feeling kind of meh? I found my answer in the bonus clips. Unlike in the main episode, Jay isn't a completely arrogant stoner. Goats discuss strategy. Ken is a gourmet chef, and Bret and Sunday have personalities. There's definitely been a lot of stuff in the extra videos this season. The need to get us down to 6 castaways and set up the edit for the final 3 took away all of the lighter moments and grace notes that usually round out an episode. I hope the finale doesn't seem similarly rushed. This week's other observations. Will wanted to be in the driver's seat, but the tribe revoked his learner's permit. Bret's bonus clip comment about Dave finding idols flying through the air made me laugh. With skee-ball and pinball challenges and the castaways playing whack-a-mole with perceived threats, this episode Must have been sponsored by Chuck E. Cheese. Hannah targeted Sunday because she didn't want Sunday to take her goat spot. Jay's idol getting flushed made me very happy. Given their different portrayals between the show and the clips, Bret and Jay won't be in the final 3. Yosemite Sam would have loved Ken's coconut cuisine. Adam's pinball assist was brilliant, but he won't get credit for the move. I loved Will's ponderosa quip that Survivor is high school on steroids. Adam is stuck in the Spencer spot, an unrespected game bot whose moves get overshadowed by others and who won't get votes if he makes it to the end. His only chance to win is if Jay goes out early and has enough time to prep the jury for Adam's real story. Next time, the finale. What is the legacy advantage? Will we get the Survivor auction? Is David's fake idol ploy an act of desperation or a final 5 stroke of genius? Will this great season have a strong finish, or will a purple goat win the day? Anyway, that's all I have for now. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. Enjoyed it as always. Next up, we got a call from Joe.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor fans. Joe from Huntersville, North Carolina. So, this week they decided to vote off 2 of the biggest goats left in the game. I propose we rename the episode title to Silence of the Goats. Dun dun dun. This next vote off will be key to who wins the game. I still think the final 3 will be David, Ken, and Hannah, with the big winner being David. If the next person voted off isn't Bret or Jay, then everything is up in the air. In my opinion, the only other person who has a shot at winning is Jay, but he would have to win the next 3 immunity challenges. I like the way the season is shaping up. Arguably, the biggest goat still remaining is Hannah. There are a very strong cast of characters still remaining. So, from least likely to most likely to win are Hannah, Adam, Brent, Ken, Jay, and David. Wow, looking back to the beginning of this season, who'd have thunk David would be considered the strongest contender to win? What are your thoughts? Am I totally off base? So, will the next episode be David finds a million ways to trust you, or it's payday for Jay? Till next time.
I liked both of those. That was
Payday
good, Joe.
for Jay.
Good job. Next up, we got a call from Crystal.
Hi, it's Crystal from Georgia. I was just calling, first of all, about this past episode. I really, really, really liked the second immunity challenge. Have you ever had anything like that on the show before? Anyway, I just thought it was really, really cool. Probably one of the ones I enjoyed the most. I also wanted to say that I think it's funny that a lot of people at the beginning of the seasons, and not just this one, but past ones that have that called into the podcast, they always seem like really upset or not interested, and then after the merge, everybody seems to think like this season is the best one ever. So I have just found that to be very interesting the last few seasons. I'm still really, really enjoying this because it's Survivor, but I'm definitely not even close to saying this is my favorite. But that's okay because it's Survivor, and I really, really love it, and I really love listening to this podcast and all of you guys and their feedback and everything. So thanks for putting that together. As I wanted to talk about the last week's episode and how the family people came, and Stacey said that he never really likes it because it seems kind of overdone. Well, I had a really interesting experience over Thanksgiving because I've always felt the same way. And being in the military and being separated from my husband the majority of our marriage, whenever we get back together, it's been easier and easier every time to not go ballistic and cry. Not that we ever super did that, but I went and saw my brother for the first time in 3 years up in Cleveland, and a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, because I didn't think that he wasn't supposed to be able to come down for Thanksgiving to Georgia. So we spent time together, and it was amazing, and no, there wasn't like this big, huge cry fest or anything. Well, lo and behold, the day before Thanksgiving, there's a knock on my door, and it's my brother, and my mom and my stepdad had surprised me with buying him a plane ticket to come down to stay with us for a couple of days, and I completely lost it. I mean, I just seen the kids like 2 weeks prior to that, but I don't know, like I guess seeing him in my house or just being such a big surprise, I'm not really sure why it affected me. I literally never lost it like I lost it. And maybe you can see it on Facebook because I posted a video that they took while I answered the door, but I mean, It was the craziest feeling. And I would imagine that it would be amplified even more out there if you are hungry and tired and lonely and in pain, maybe not feeling so good, and then you see somebody that is just full of comfort. I mean, I would probably cry if I just got food out there, much less that level of comfort from seeing somebody that I loved so much and that cared about me and that I trusted so immensely after being surrounded by people I didn't trust. So anyway, I'm sure that you guys both probably know that. Stacey seems very wise to human interaction, so I'm sure you understand that. But I just wanted to relay my own experience because I thought it was such a weird thing to experience, having never done that before. Thanks for the podcast again, and I look forward to hearing the listener feedback later today. Have a great day. Bye.
Oh, I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Crystal.
Yeah, and I will guarantee you if that Stacey were in that case, he would cry.
If I was in what case?
I guarantee you, if you were on the show, family visit, I showed up, you would absolutely cry.
I've said that before. Yeah, I've said that I thought that might happen because
you're not nearly
similar.
as tough as you pretend.
No, I'm not. I'm the softie.
No.
You're the tough one. So
I can be.
That doesn't mean.
But I'm okay with crying.
But
so.
that doesn't. I'm okay with crying too. It just when it's profuse, when it seems like it's like we talked about.
I mean, like when it's really genuine and you can't stop it. Because that's the only time I cry is when I can't not cry.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It just seems different than when you see these controlled, somewhat contrived scenes get put together.
One of my friends posted, I think it was Jimmy Fallon, his producer.
I can't stand watching
Dwayne,
him because he's so fake.
You need to stop.
Sorry.
Dwayne Johnson managed to get her husband, who's in the military, and she's a vet, but the producer of Jimmy's show, and hadn't seen her husband in a year and a half, and they surprised her by bringing him home early for the holidays. And there I went, tears.
Yeah. I like watching those.
I don't think the lady even cried,
the
but I did.
military reunion ones, but yeah. And with their pets too. But I don't end up crying for those. But I love what Crystal shared that from her own experience, and she didn't understand it, but that's what was going on, and so she gave us some deeper insight into what's happening in those kind of scenarios. I appreciate that. Thanks, Crystal. Next up, we got a quick email from KittyCat in Virginia.
Greetings and salutations, Stacey, Joanne, and Survivor fans. I think I need a major blast of luck going into the finale for my JSFL score, or I may very well be caterwauling my loss in the side challenge.
Don't sing us a song.
All right, thanks, KittyCat.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Well, I predict she will not be in the bottom after the finale.
Okay, there you have it. Bold prediction from Joanne. Next up, we got a call from Jacqueline. Let's see what's going on with her this week.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey. What is up, Survivor Fools? This is Jacqueline from Orange County, California. And happy 1000th episode, Joanne and Stacey. What a great accomplishment and what a great community you have built around you guys.
Absolutely.
It just goes to show you are what you put out there, and you guys are amazing, and the community is absolutely amazing. Like I've said before, I don't know anybody who watches Survivor, and I needed to listen to people talk about it. And thank you for letting me contribute and have this platform to share my thoughts, because otherwise they just get stuck in my head. Okay, so last night's episode. Do I have sparkly hearts in my eye for Jay like Hannah has sparkly hearts in her eyes for Ken? Oh, I think I do. Yeah, Stacey, you're right. I totally saw his arrogance last night. Boy, oh boy. Just because you win immunity doesn't mean you just get to just seclude yourself again. There is something going on with his social game, and it is non-existent. He is on the outs, and he's voting basically by himself and getting really lucky. And yeah, you should be out there talking to everybody. You should be out there trying to make a new game for yourself, because he is a lone wolf. And I don't understand why he doesn't talk to David. I wonder what happened there, because David's the type of player that's just going to trust everybody. And he seems like he's willing to work with everybody, and I wonder why Jay is not trying. Maybe he is and we're just not seeing it, but yeah, that's kind of hard to watch. And Joanne, look at your girl Hannah. She's making some moves. But was it the right move? I don't know. I never understood why the women go against each other. Like, there's no reason to get out on Sunday. Like, there's no reason to get her out, because actually her and Bret would be great people to take to the end, in my opinion. Although she could get to the end with, say, Ken and David, hypothetically that Shea and Adam are gone, she could possibly flip on David with Bret and get David kicked out and be sitting with Ken and Bret. She could possibly win that way. That would be pretty awesome for you, Joanne. Okay, looking forward, I'm excited to see how Ken uses his legacy idol. I don't know if he's going to use it correctly. I'm excited to see Jay use his reward. And do they not do the Survivor auction every season? And if they do, in the next episode, I mean, that could be a great way that Jay uses the reward. And then seeing David make a fake idol, is that smart so late in the game? Especially because if Adam's around, I could see him going after David, forcing him to use that fake idol, getting him kicked, putting that target on his back. We'll see what happens. All right, Joanne and Stacy, congrats again on 1,000 episodes. And I can't wait to hear what you all have to say. Bye.
Right. Thank you. Good job.
I think that if they got Bret out next, that, where that's how they were leaning last time. But I think Hannah realized that she could end up like Adam and Jay could take her. If she went with Millennials,
right?
They could take her to the final three. Or Ken and David, she's close with them. So I think she felt like she'd be in the middle then, that one of those groups would take her.
Okay.
If she eliminated the other people. I don't know why she really had to have Sunday first, but if those two were eliminated, that she'd be the one they would take.
Yeah, that seems plausible. Good deal. Thanks again, Jacqueline.
If she wins, however, I will still be extremely shocked.
Yeah, I think a lot of us will. Next up, we got an email from Marina, formerly of NYC, now from Seattle. Dear Joanne and Stacy, thank you. Your millennial episode, I like what she did there with that.
Yeah.
Your millennial episode is a wonderful opportunity to send thanks for all your hard work, insights, and yes, disagreements about Survivor. I discovered your podcast while watching the Cook Island season and have been listening ever since. I've even gone back and listened to the archive, so I may have listened to everything each of you have ever said about Survivor. Wow, so you're the one who downloads those episodes. Mystery solved. Although I've rarely contributed to the listener feedback show, I wanted to write in this time to add my appreciation on this anniversary. For many years, a Survivor episode doesn't seem complete until I hear your podcast.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Very nice. So on behalf of many silent listeners, keep doing what you do, because truly, nobody does it better. Thank you both, and here's to another 1,000 episodes of Stacy ranting about quitters, Joanne getting teary-eyed about a sad Survivor story, but more than anything, the two of you arguing about some fine point of Survivorness. Cheers. Thanks, Marina.
Well said.
That was quite
Thank you.
Yeah, I think she condensed us very well there, huh?
I like it.
Little blurb. I appreciate that. Good deal. Next up, we got audio from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and here's the deal with me. Double tribal councils in one episode just moves things along too quickly for me, which is why I thought this episode was just It's not that I disliked it, it's just that I watched Survivor because I enjoy the dynamics of all the personalities in play, which we get shortchanged on during an hour-long episode with a double boot. I'd much rather see it handled as a normal episode with a normal tribal, and then have Jeff say, I'm afraid we're not finished here yet, and then tell them to go revote before anyone gets to talk to one another. This way, I still get a complete social episode, and it doesn't seem rushed. You know what I mean? So, what's going to happen in our final episode of the season, which I can't believe is here already? Well, if there's one thing I've learned with the Millennials and the Gen Xers, it's that you have to expect the unexpected. Why is David making a fake idol? Surely he loses the challenge and things are looking bleak for him. Still, making a fake idol can cause votes to come your way, so that nice idol could also bite David in the butt if he's using it during the first tribal of the episode. But what if, in an unexpected twist, what if he wins immunity and makes a fake idol anyway to give to Ken or Hannah to help keep their numbers? That would be very interesting to me. But it won't happen because, well, I've sort of predicted it. As for our current players, well, I just don't see Hannah, Ken, or even Bret winning. They haven't done anything save for Hannah, whose big moves only redirect votes from bigger players to lesser players. This week she masterminded Saturday's demise, or Thursday, or whatever day of the week that woman is who rarely spoke, even in her exit episode. And Ken, he's a loner who waited for people to come to him, which they didn't, to form his only alliance. And then there's Bret, who only really bonded with Zeke and Wednesday, which isn't enough for a win. I like him, but I just don't feel it. What I do feel is that Jay, Adam, and David have what it takes to pull off the win if they can make it to the final three. All guns are going to be locked onto Jay as our final episode starts, so it's going to be fun. David is just wow, but I'll get to him in my final feedback because I still need to see where he ranks this season to sort out my feelings for him. He has fought to stay in here, and people see that, which is why I think he can pull off a win. And then there's Jay, who I'm no longer opposed to have winning. His social personality is much better when he's not with the numbers, but I just can't shake knowing what he's normally like. I actually want Adam to win. He's been a roller coaster with me, but he's been playing this entire game on edge because of his mother's situation. If he makes it to final three and Jay isn't there, I think he can pull it off, because if Jay could vote for him, and I think he would, anyone else could as well. I guess he's the underdog that I'm rooting for most. I really hate to see this all be for nothing for him. Lastly, if we do get a bitter jury, perhaps that's Bret's road to the win. He hasn't pissed anyone off over there on the jury because the game has largely unfolded around him. And you know what? I can live with this outcome easily. So that's it for me. Mostly speculation from a guy who traded in his original USB only now to believe that he's a contender for the win. C'est la vie. Oh, and happy 1000th episode. Joanne and Stacy, this is just amazing. Take care, everyone. Bye now.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, wow, that doesn't seem real.
What's that?
1,000.
1,000 episodes, so we've been doing this 12 years now. This is wrapping up our 12th year.
We used to be young when we started.
Yes.
Younger, you knew.
It's our 24th season that we're covering. I think I mentioned at the top, we've done over 300 interviews with the castaways, and we've had over 3 million downloads now.
Yeah, and all of ours are just about Survivor. We don't do anything else.
Right.
So we
well,
put in.
That's not entirely true. I did a few episodes about that trip.
About that trip.
Yeah, when I took the field skills class back when I was so intent on learning actual survival skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking that would be an important thing to have.
It was survival related, but not survivor related.
There you go. Yeah.
But there were only a few of those.
Yep. So where do you think that puts us? We've got some great feedback. Definitely people are leaning towards the Adam J. David triple.
I think that would be the most exciting for people.
Might be the most challenging one to win, too.
Yes.
It also seems extremely unlikely.
Yeah.
If it weren't for how this season had been going all along, where the lesser threats are going before the bigger ones, it seems like, or things are happening in orders that don't necessarily make sense for what you would expect to be the focus. Yeah, I liked your point about Hannah looking to be in this pivot position, so that either Ken and David would take her, or Jay and Adam.
The real kicker would be if they went down to 2.
Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think they will.
That
too many
seems,
people.
Yeah, you would think it might be you wouldn't want to rule it out, except they're starting with 6, and they could jam it in like they did with this episode. I wasn't totally against this. I'm more with Drew, which is I like taking care of some of this business quick. So
Okay.
they could speed things up and move about as fast as Paul was talking there at the beginning of his feedback.
I hope they don't, though, because it feels like you miss something.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we want to see a little more to help us understand, because there's still lots of questions and mysteries as we head into the end.
Yeah, this is just a real different group, and these people are playing very different from the usual newbies.
They do appear to be looking at it a little differently than past seasons and how people typically play, with some idea towards strategy, but with obvious, the social aspect of the game being huge, and then emotions always overriding you and causing you to do something you didn't necessarily intend to.
I will be interested
in the wild card
to see not only what Ken's advantage is, but does he think he can beat David? I know that they've been loyal and they've stayed, and I don't think he's going to break from that if he has the opportunity to go with David. I believe he will, and probably
if you look at it through
Hannah
Ken's lens of authenticity, then yeah, he may think he can beat him, because you're talking about David, someone who maybe just discovered how to move through the world, versus Ken, who's known for a while and been his authentic self. And how he's managed. I'm trying to see it through his eyes.
The provider,
yeah,
the cook, he took care of
even
everybody.
Keel didn't blow up, didn't
because he
attack
talked about
anyone.
Even Will as though he were a father figure. He was very proud of how Will handled himself when he got voted off. He was very proud of him. And so I think he kind of sees himself more in the father image of that. Whereas Jay, he seems way more competitive.
And respectful, too, because after all, Jay is mini Ken.
Yeah.
We should have referred
but I don't know that
to him as mini
Ken
Ken
to the end with
all
him.
along through the season once we saw that early on. Yeah.
But, you would still think Ken would want to get rid of Jay because he is a challenge threat. But on the same hand, he may look at that as, oh no, I want somebody here that can challenge me.
It'll be authentic to beat the best.
Exactly.
Yes.
He wants to beat the best.
Yeah.
So I could see him wanting to keep him around for that reason.
I think anyone who finds himself in the situation that they're this close is thinking there's a chance for me. Yeah. No one's gonna give up. They're trying to make out what that is and what they've been able to do. And of course, we see the whole thing. We see the whole season through a different lens than all these people do. So
yeah, and we don't know what their perception is about themselves and how they played the game.
Other than what we can glean through the extra videos, what we see in the episode, and what we get in the interviews.
And Sunday talked a little bit about that, about, the people that surrounded her weren't the type of Survivor fans that would go look at the extra video clips and get the extra explanations or anything like that. And so she was finding she needed to explain things as they happen. And
I think she was saying her husband helped her let go of that. She was stressing about it.
Yeah.
And he helped her see, hey, they're really just happy that you had this opportunity.
Yeah, and they support you no matter what.
Yeah.
So you got to do this for you. And so
I think he helped her enjoy it more because of that.
Right. And enjoyed being out there so he could really get a feel for it.
Do you have a pick? What are you going to venture?
I really am still, my brain feels very jumbled because I really haven't had time to just sit and ponder. But then when I do that, I will just confuse myself over and over. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I want to think about what other people said in the feedback.
I think if Jay gets there, he wins.
I think that could be true.
There are just too many people who could vote for him. And we've heard, even though what's great about the whole season in terms of how we got to see him, the lens that they gave us, is we got to see pros and cons for each one. They didn't seem to be hiding the bad stuff.
Right. Well, I think most of us agree that Jay, Adam, and David, if they're there with any of the other three, win.
Seems like they have a better story to us,
yes,
and therefore they would win.
And yet,
if that
I
were
could
rewarded.
See how, people could say, "Oh, Bret entertaining. He was fun. We really like him, and he's a police officer, and blah blah blah. And let's give him some money, too." And Ken and Hannah.
He's got a story too with that exchange with Zeke and what this meant for him, and how he's grown and shared and
everything he's kept hidden about himself personally and about his job and all of that. Of course, I don't know. They probably have talked about it. Hannah probably at some point outed that he's a cop. So. But I think probably socially, those four have the best chance over Hannah and Ken.
Right.
So, but I don't know. You don't know the way these people think. I haven't known all season.
Given everything that everyone we've interviewed talked about, you got to think David's got a really good
number
shot.
one chance to win.
I think if David and Jay end up there together, that Jay might beat him.
That could be because of the people on the jury.
Yep. And Jay's story's going to tug at your heartstrings, too, because he was doing it to help his mom and his sister out. David's story is about overcoming his fear. And it's great that he's made that shift, and at least he's taken a different path in life and how it's affecting his
and they like
outlook
him.
on
They
everything.
seem to respect him, but they might be more angry with him.
He hasn't had to be the underdog to the extent that Jay has, that's for sure.
But he's made huge moves, if that's important to them. So they've got to see that. And he's been vulnerable. Of course, so has Jay. But I think Jay and David have been more vulnerable than Adam, even though Adam was more vulnerable than he knew at one point, I think.
Yeah, Adam's just been so in and out of favor in
But
the
they all
context
three
of
have
the game.
redemption stories where they felt like they were really on the block, and they kept fighting their way back. So
You can make a similar argument, I guess, for Bret, too.
True.
He's found a way to be there, found a way to be there, found a way to be there.
well, Ken was on the
And
bottom.
Hannah
from the
went
get-go.
from not being included in a vote and being told what to do and not being trusted to
convincing
helping,
people how to vote.
orchestrate a vote. So certainly good stories there. Again, I'm sort of sticking with if Jay gets there, he wins. It's going to be tough to go on that immunity run, but they're all flagging right now. They really need a reward.
But that's
to pump
where
them up
Jay
energy-wise.
could have the advantage, is that he could take a food reward.
Yes.
Say if
There you go.
Ken won something and there was a food reward, he could say, no, sorry, I'm going to have to take that from you because we got a big challenge coming up.
Yes.
And I need the food, and I need you not to have it.
Yeah.
So, because it can make
And we
huge
definitely
difference.
have had, like several folks commented on, we've had some tough challenges, so I'm expecting something pretty great for the finale. And I've enjoyed these challenges. It hasn't been a whole lot, although there was one about breaking tiles. It wasn't about breaking tiles or shuffleboard or stuff.
Yeah.
So I've definitely enjoyed these challenges this
Well,
season.
the tile was kind of a, moot point once they dropped the bar.
It's for drama.
Yeah, that was just the drama, the noise, the whatever.
Yeah.
That was the coins.
It's done before the tile breaks, yeah.
I had a point and I forgot what it was.
Something about Hannah and how great she is?
No. Oh, it was about the challenge. The only one I've seen, just a little flash of, looked like it was a tough physical
Obstacle,
challenge.
yeah.
For the next immunity.
Yeah, I wasn't
For
sure if they were
6.
comboing up several. It looked like it could have been that, right?
Yeah. Looked like they were. That's why I
I
said
think you
it
could see
looked,
Ken,
still pretty physical.
trying to blast through one of those rope maze things. Yeah.
Though I think there was a puzzle at the end or something too. So.
Okay.
But I wouldn't think it was something Hannah would do as well as Ken or Jay.
Hey, we still got some business from this episode to take care of. Can
Yes,
you give
we
us
do.
a JSFL update? We didn't
There
have the numbers.
were 4 USBs lost for Will and 1 for Sunday. Dino is now in first place with 56 points, and Michael T in second with 55.
Nice.
There were 166 people who lost a safe point this week.
You and me?
178 people gained a vote-off point for Will and 45 for Sunday.
You got one for Will, right?
I got one for Will and lost one for Sunday, so nah. Challengers. Tied for first with 51 points is Hubaloo, James and Shannon, Jeremiah, and Noom.
Wow. So big bunching up there at the top.
With 50 points, Iron Dave and Aaron, 49 Brandon, 48 Cold Mike, Stacy and Tyler, 47 Jonathan, 46 Carolyn, and 45 Kitty Cat.
All right, there you have it. Looking forward to seeing how that side challenge ends. It's going to be quite the feat for any of us, I think, to break 100.
So whoever wins that gets to choose the song for whoever loses.
Yeah.
And decide on what that parody will be. Or
I like the caterwauling. That works for me. Hey, we want to thank everybody who took the time to send in your thoughts and share your predictions with us this week in our 1000th episode. We appreciate that very much. We also need to send a big thanks out to Doris and Tom for their donations. That support is always much, much appreciated and helps keep the show running. Thank you very much for that.
And please do not forget to get your final 5 order in, because there's a whopping lot of points there.
Yes.
50 plus points in this last episode. So, and that will determine who can win this thing.
Absolutely.
That needs to be in no later than 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific Time on Wednesday.
Anything else?
Wow, 6 interviews on Thursday.
That's going to be something.
Phew.
Well, it's really 3 interviews with six people.
Yeah, but one of those is with 3 people.
Yes.
Three,
yeah. It's
3,
gonna be
2, 1.
challenging. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. We can do it. Okay, you got anything else you want to add?
I'm excited, looking forward to seeing how this season ends.
Me too.
It turned out much better than I anticipated, or it has been up until now, and I'm looking to see it conclude. Enjoy that, get on some interviews, and then we'll cap it off with just one more of these listener feedback shows, and we'll be done for the season until March 8th.
Big night on Wednesday.
3
hours of Survivor.
Yes.
All right. Okay, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Wednesday.